مرحبا بكم في قناة تاتس التعليمية. ادعم القناة بالاشتراك وتفعيل الجرس والإعجاب. الآن زوروا موقعنا howtutsgames.com للتركيز على الدروس واختبار المعلومات، كما يتم تحديث المحتوى التعليمي باستمرار.
Mega Goal 2 Unit 5 الوحدة الخامسة. If it hadn't happened لو لم يحدث ذلك، النتائج الوخيمة لمثل أو المتوقعة لترك بعض الأشياء أو الاختراعات. مثلا 1. Look at the pictures and write as many words as you can think of for each. اكتب كلمات تدل على الصور. 2. Read each paragraph and underline the words that name something in the picture. ضع خط أسفل الكلمات التي تسمي شيء في الصور.
Looking back. Inventions and discoveries that changed history. We often wonder if things might or could have been different. Would the world be a better place? What are the advantages or disadvantages of different inventions? The wheel. If the Sumerians hadn't invented the wheel in 5000 BCE, they couldn't have moved heavy loads. 6,000 years later, the Mayans and Incans in the Americas used the round shape in their architecture, but they had no wheels. Airplanes. If the Wright brothers hadn't invented the first successful airplane, people might still be traveling long distances on ships, and there wouldn't be as much contact among people on different continents. The Wright brothers first flew in an engine-propelled plane in 1903. Oil. If people hadn't discovered a lot of sources of oil, cars that run on gasoline wouldn't have become so common. The first commercial oil well drilled in North America was in Oil Springs, Ontario, Canada in 1858. Computers. If we didn't have computers, a lot of work would still be done with paper and pencil, and people in their homes wouldn't be able to be in contact with the entire world. The first PC was introduced by IBM in 1981. Electricity. If electricity hadn't been discovered, people would probably still be using candles or gas lights. Thomas Edison developed the first incandescent electric light bulb in 1879. Penicillin. If Dr. Alexander Fleming hadn't discovered penicillin in 1928, millions of people would have died from infections. However, the widespread use of penicillin as an antibiotic did not begin until the 1940s during World War II.
1. If I'd studied harder, I would have passed that test. 2. I should have said what I thought about her hairstyle, but I didn't want to hurt her feelings. 3. I should have bought that thing last year. Now prices have gone up. 4. If I had been more careful, I would have avoided the accident. 5. I should have told the security guard that I saw someone breaking the lock. 6. If I'd known the trip was going to take so long, I would have taken another route. 7. Other afterthoughts?
هذه جمل شرطية وأمنيات، وأيضا شرط تخيلي. A. Vocabulary. كلمات match to form new words and expressions. كون تعبيرات جديدة باستخدام كلمتين. Answers. Oil well. بئر للنفط. Number 2. Heavy load. حمل ثقيل. Number 3. Hair style. قصة للشعر. Number 4. Electric bulb. مصباح كهربائي. Number 5. Security guard. حارس أمن. Comprehension. Answer true or false. أجب بصح أو خطأ.
1. The Sumerians couldn't have carried heavy loads without the wheel. 2. If it weren't for Fleming, many people would have died from infections. 3. If it hadn't been for candles, there wouldn't be any electricity. 4. People would still be traveling on ships if it weren't for airplanes. 5. The man who is unloading the truck should have studied harder.
What is your biggest regret?
I should have been a more serious student.
What would have happened if the Sumerians hadn't invented the wheel?
They wouldn't have been able to move heavy loads.
What would you have done if you'd seen the thief?
I would have called the police immediately.
Three. Grammar قواعد. should have ينبغي أن أو يتوجب أن past participle التصريف الثالث ed verb أو التصريف الثالث من الأفعال غير المنتظمة. use should have past participle to talk about regrets نتحدث عن الندم. use this form to talk about things you wished نتمنى you had done or hadn't done نتمنى أننا قمنا بشيء أو لم نقم به. مثال I should have said I was sorry أتمنى لو قلت أنا آسف but I didn't say I was sorry لم أقل ذلك. I shouldn't الآن ينفي have done that كان يتوجب ألا أفعل ينبغي ألا أقوم بذلك but I did that ولكن في الواقع قمت به. إذن should have ونأتي بالتصريف الثالث أو shouldn't have ونأتي بالتصريف الثالث لإثبات أو النفي أمنية. Conditional sentences hypothetical situations in the past الجمل الشرطية لكن افتراضية ليست أمنيات ولا تخيلات ولكن تفترض وقوع شيء قريب من الأمنية. use if past perfect التصريف الثالث would have ثم نأتي لقمت ثم نأتي بالتصريف الثالث ed verb. past perfect هو had مضاف له الفعل في التصريف الثالث ولكن past participle هو ed verb أو التصريف الثالث من الأفعال غير المنتظمة لنتحدث عن أشياء لم تحدث في الماضي and had a result in the past وكان سيكون لها أثر أيضا في الماضي or to talk about things you would have done differently أو نتمنى لو قمنا بهذه الأشياء أنجزناها بشكل مختلف. If I hadn't found my book لو لم أعثر على كتابي ما النتيجة في الماضي؟ I would have been in trouble لكنت في ورطة. هذا كله في الماضي. إذن يفترض عدم وجود شيء ثم يضع لهذه الافتراض نتيجة. في كل الحالات جملة if علينا نأتي فيها بهاد إما مثبتة أو منفية ثم نأتي بالتصريف الثالث من الفعل found أو الed إذا كان يقبلها. في نتيجة هذا الشرط علينا أن نأتي بwould ثم نضيف have ثم نأتي بالتصريف الثالث من الفعل أو ed verb. in trouble I found my book so I wasn't in trouble. إذن الواقع أنني عثرت على الكتاب ولم أقع في مشاكل. إذن لو لم أعثر على الكتاب لوقعت في المشاكل. هذا هو المعنى الافتراضي الذي تشير إليه هذه القاعدة. If I had studied harder لو ذاكرت بشكل جاد أكثر I would have passed the exam لأجتزت الاختبار. إذن ما الواقع I didn't study hard لم أذاكر جيدا so I didn't pass the exam ولم أنجح في الاختبار. إذن يفترض أنه لو ذاكر لنجح. إذن هذه لو الذي تفتح عمل الشيطان لو الشرطية التخيلية. use if مضافا لها past perfect الماضي التام had مع الفعل في التصريف الثالث أو ed ثم نأتي بwould وننفيها إن أردنا ثم نأتي بالفعل في المصدر ونضيف للفعل لها بعد ذلك being الكون يعني ing to talk about things that didn't happen in the past نتحدث عن أشياء لم تحدث في الماضي and have a result in the present ولديها أثر في الحاضر. مثال If I hadn't learned English لو لم أتعلم الإنجليزية I wouldn't understand you لما سمعتك الآن وأنا أتكلم معك. إذن أنا تعلمت I learned English So I understand you. لذلك أنا أفهمك. المهم في هذه القاعدة جملة if نأتي فيها بهاد إما مثبتة أو منفية، ثم نضيف للفعل ed إذا كان يقبلها أو التصريف الثالث من الأفعال غير المنتظمة. في النتيجة الافتراضية نأتي بود إما مثبتة أو منفية، ثم نأتي ب understand الفعل كما هو في المصدر. ولكن هنالك أسلوب آخر. If we had won لو فزنا we would be celebrating لكنا نحتفل. ممكن أن يأتي ب would ثم be في المصدر و celebrating نضيف لها ing. We didn't win لم نفز، هذا الواقع يعني. So we aren't celebrating لذلك لا نحتفل نحن الآن. Note I'd مختصرة من I had or I would، وللتفريق بينهما had يأتي بعدها الفعل في التصريف الثالث أو ed، ولكن would يأتي بعدها الفعل في المصدر. If I'd وهي if I had been more careful، إذن been هو التصريف الثالث من be، والسبب أن قبلها had. وأيضا لدينا مؤشر آخر، هذه جملة if. والنتيجة I'd have avoided the accident. إذن هذا اختصار إلى would. كيف عرفنا ذلك؟ هذه النتيجة، هذا رقم 1. الثاني أن هنالك الفعل في المصدر بعدها وهي كلمة have. If with could and might. If الشرطية مع could التمكن والإمكانية وmight الاحتمالية. Use if and could might past perfect نأتي بعدهما بالماضي التام had مضاف لها have في هذه الحالة، لأن could و might تحتم من أفعال المودلز، تحتم علينا نأتي بالفعل بعدها في المصدر. ففي هذه الحالة لا يوجد مصدر إلى had إلا have، فنأتي بها ثم نضيف للفعل ed أو التصريف الثالث إذا كان لا يقبل ed. To talk about possibilities عن الإمكانيات and missed opportunities والفرص التي فوتناها. جملة الشرط If I had gotten a job last summer لو حصلت على، إذن had نضيف للفعل التصريف الثالث. النتيجة نستخدم فيها could و might الاحتمالية. I could have في المصدر لازم بسبب كلمة could، ونأتي بالتصريف الثالث بعدها saved more money. If she had left work earlier أيضا لدينا had والتصريف الثالث في جملة if الشرطية. والنتيجة she might. ممكن أن نقول could ونقول might، ونأتي بها في المصدر بسبب كلمة might، ونأتي avoided ed لأنها تقبلها، لأن have التمام هذه. She might have avoided traffic. A. Read the situations and make sentences using should have, shouldn't have. استخدم إما ينبغي لا ينبغي، كان يتوجب لم يتوجب. Answers. Jane shouldn't have lent April the money. المشكلة أن هنالك لم يرجع المال فلذلك shouldn't. إذا نعطي النصيحة ما كان ينبغي، نتمنى لو أنه حدث. Brad should have had an extra money. أيضا نأتي بشود ثم have في المصدر بسبب كلمة should، ونأتي بهاد في التصريف الثالث في جميع هذه الأحوال. إذا نأتي بشود وهاف ونأتي بالتصريف الثالث من الفعل. Rita should have gone to the doctor. should have gone. They should have asked Emilio to go out with them. should have asked. We shouldn't هذه منفية لأنه لا نتمنى وقوع ذلك. have gone to the Gino's restaurant. shouldn't have gone. Number 6. Mr. Johnson should have been at the meeting last night. Johnson هذا الفاعل، المهم should have been كان ينبغي أن يكون هناك، لم يكن هناك. نتمنى. B. Now tell what you would have done in the situations in exercise A. ما الذي كنت ستقوم به عوضا عن هذا الشخص مثلا؟ Answers. If I الآن جمل شرطية. في if نستخدم had ونضيف لها الفعل في التصريف الثالث. في النتيجة نستخدم would ونضيف لها have المصدرية بسبب كلمة would، ثم نضيف لها الفعل في التصريف الثالث أو ed verb. If I'd forgotten my key I would have climbed in the window. إذا جملة if had واختصرت I'd forgotten، والنتيجة would have climbed. Number 3. If I'd been sick I would have gone to the doctor right away. جملة if الشرطية I'd been sick. الجواب الشرط would have gone. Number 4. If I'd been Emilio, I would have been upset too. I'd been Emilio, I'd been. هذا جملة if الشرطية. في الجواب would have been. Number 5. If I'd gone out to eat, جملة if الشرطية I'd gone والجواب I would have gone to a French restaurant. Would have gone. Number 6. If I'd been Mr. Johnson, الشرط I'd been. الجواب I would have gone to the meeting. لا ننسى أننا يمكن أن نبدأ بجواب الشرط ثم نأتي بإف. فمثلا نقول وبالتالي نفقد الفاصلة في المنتصف. فبالتالي نقول I would have climbed in the window if I'd forgotten my key. هذا أيضا أسلوب آخر من تركيب الشرط وجوابه. نبدأ بالنتيجة ثم الشرط. Match the two parts of the sentences. أقرن جزئي الجملة حسب السياق والمعنى. نكمل. Number 1. If I had known it was going to rain, لو علمت بالمطر، ما النتيجة الملائمة؟ E. I would have taken an umbrella. لأخذت معي مظلة. Number 2. If they had asked me for advice, لو سألوني عن النصيحة، ما النتيجة الملائمة؟ A. I would have told them not to buy that TV set. لأخبرتهم بعدم شراء هذا التلفزيون. Number 3. If I had enough money، لو كان لدي مال كفاية، ما النتيجة؟ G. I would have bought a plane ticket. لأخذت تذكرة طيران. Number 4. If you had been home، لو كنت في المنزل، ما النتيجة؟ F. I would have visited you. لزرتك. Number 5. If they had told the truth، ما النتيجة؟ B. They wouldn't be in so much trouble now. Number 6. If I hadn't passed the test، ما النتيجة لو لم أجتاز الاختبار؟ D. I would be taking it again. لأخذت الاختبار مرة أخرى. Number 7. If the referee hadn't made a bad call، لو لم يأخذ الحكم قرار خاطئ، النتيجة C. Their team wouldn't have won the game. لما فاز فريقهم. المهم في هذا التدريب أن جملة if نضيف لها had ونون التصريف الثالث، والجواب على ذلك نستخدم فيه would have ونضيف للفعل التصريف الثالث أو ed. أضف النهايات الصحيحة لمثل هذه الجمل من عندك أنت. النهايات الجديدة مثلا I wouldn't have gone to the beach. لما ذهبت للشاطئ. I would have told them not to buy that TV. لا يشتروا التلفاز. I would have gone to Spain last summer. لذهبت إلى إسبانيا. I would have shared the cookies with you. لشاركت البسكويت معك. Their parents wouldn't have grounded them. لما عاقبهم والديهم. My parents would have been upset. لكان والدي غاضبين. Our team would have won the big game. لفاز فريقنا المباراة الكبرى. Work with a partner. What would, could or might الآن احتمالات you have said or done in the following situations تقوم به في هذه الحالات. Compare your ideas with other pairs. Answers.
Sample answers. 1. I would have taken my key if I had gone out at night. I might have waited until morning to take out the garbage. I would have explained the situation to the police officer. 2. I would have apologized to the person. I would have said that the person looked like a friend of mine. I might have continued the conversation and introduced myself to the person. 3. I would have told my friend the truth about the dent. I might have had the dent fixed. 4. I would have explained the situation to my friend and asked her to pay. I might have asked the restaurant if it accepted checks. I could have called my brother and asked him to bring my wallet to the restaurant.
4. Language and context.
Language in context. The following talks about a message that was found in a bottle. Imagine you found the message. Discuss with a partner what you would have thought if you had found the bottle and what you would have done with the money. In 1949, Jack Worm, an unemployed man, was walking aimlessly on a California beach when he came across a bottle that had floated onto the beach. In it was a piece of paper with this message to avoid confusion. I leave my entire estate to the lucky person who finds this bottle, and to my attorney, Barry Cohen, share and share alike. Daisy Alexander, June 20, 1937. It was not a hoax. Mr. Worm received over $6 million from Daisy Alexander's estate.
5. Listening. استماع. Listen to the people on the radio show and complete the chart. أكمل هذه القائمة.
Call 1.
Good morning. Thanks for tuning in to the All Ears Radio Talk Show. This is Sam Whitfield, and today we're going to discuss communication problems at the workplace. Now for our first listener, Jay Springfield. Tell us what you regret saying or not saying to your boss.
Well, my boss had asked me to do a number of things, most of which required going to official services, waiting in lines for some time, or they were simply time-consuming tasks.
Did he realize how long it took you to do the things he'd asked you to do?
No, I don't think so. He never did. He was so demanding I couldn't stand it anymore. And he never appreciated hard work. I couldn't keep my mouth shut. I had to tell him.
Did you try talking to him about it?
I know I should have discussed it with him sooner, but I didn't. I wasn't the only one who felt this way. So I told him. I told him that we all did our best to please him, and he never had a kind word for anyone. That he was the boss and had the right to expect us to perform well, but not the right to make us feel worthless. That he should have given credit where credit was due. He should have commented on a job well done. He should have been more understanding with people. Then I resigned.
Well, I think you did the right thing. If I'd been in your place, I would have done the same. Are you sorry about resigning?
Yes, I shouldn't have left. I spent most of my working life there. I don't know if I'll be able to find another job.
Call 2. Our second listener is Saeed. Tell us, what regrets do you have about your behavior at work?
I love what I do. I am a designer, and I have worked in advertising for the last 7 years. But when I am under pressure, I can be very irritable and abrupt with people. I know it's not right, but I can't help it. So I manage to upset people that I respect and like working with. In general, I make life difficult for anyone who comes close.
If you realize all this, why didn't you talk to people? Why didn't you try to apologize or to explain?
I should have spoken to them, I know. But I felt so embarrassed every time it happened, and they looked so fed up with me. I just gave up. I would still like to make up for all this.
That shouldn't be a problem. How about going over and talking to everyone?
Well, actually, that's not possible. You see, I was fired.
Oh.
Pronunciation نطق. تدرب على تقليص نطق could have و should have و would have. كيف تنطق يا ترى؟
I could have traveled. He should have studied harder. He would have been really happy. I could have traveled. He should have studied harder. He would have been really happy.
أعثر على أمثلة في could have و should have و would have.
1. If I'd studied harder, I would have passed that test. 2. I should have said what I thought about her hairstyle, but I didn't want to hurt her feelings. 3. I should have bought that thing last year. Now prices have gone up. 4. If I had been more careful, I would have avoided the accident. 5. I should have told the security guard that I saw someone breaking the lock. 6. If I'd known the trip was going to take so long, I would have taken another route. 7. Other afterthoughts?
7. About you in pairs. Ask the questions and have your friends answer. Then switch roles. اسأل وأجب. Number 1. What mistakes have you made in your life? أخطاء حياتك. Number 2. What things do you regret having done in your life? تندم عليها. What do you regret not having done? ولا تندم. Number 3. Talk about the best or worst thing that has ever happened to you. أفضل وأسوأ شيء حدث لك. Number 4. Have you ever been in an embarrassing situation or predicament? هل كنت في موقف محرج أو معضل؟ Talk about it. تحدث عنه. 8. Conversation. محادثة. في الكلام الواقعي you mean يعني أنت تعني an expression used to confirm what someone else has said. نؤكد على ما قاله آخر. Go out into the world أن تذهب للعالم. Start to be on one's own and independent. تعتمد على نفسك. Breathing down someone's neck. أنك constantly checking. أنك دائما تبحث عن معلوماته أو أخباره. Ask for me مثلا. An expression used to introduce a new subject topic. Asks for يعني يسأل عن موضوع جديد مثلا. Have one's mind set on something. أنك تجعل ذهنك على شيء ما. Be firmly decided. أنك تقرر يعني.
So do you have any regrets about things in your life?
You mean things I should or shouldn't have done? Yeah, I guess there are a few. How about you?
I wish I had done things differently. I missed some good opportunities because I was too immature. I should have listened to my parents. They wanted me to go to college, and I actually had the grades. But I wanted to get a job and go out into the world.
Well, you did very well for yourself. You have your own business, and you don't have a boss breathing down your neck.
But I have lots of responsibilities. I wish I'd taken a course in business management. Now I have to employ someone to do the work I could be doing.
Well, it's never too late. You can still go back to school. As for me, I got my master's degree, and I had my mind set on a career, but then I got married and had children.
So you had to choose between the job and family?
No, I work hard, and I am able to take care of my family.
1. List Faisal's regrets. ندم فيصل. Faisal thinks that he should have listened to his parents. استمع لوالديه. And gone to college. يذهب الكلية. He thinks that he should have taken courses in business management في إدارة الأعمال. 2. In your own words, write about Ibrahim's life. حياة إبراهيم. Ibrahim went to college and got a master's degree. الماجستير. Then he got married. تزوج and had children. لديه أولاد. Now he works hard and he is able to take care of his family. يعمل بجد ويعتني بعائلته. Reading. قراءة. Before you read, do you ever read advice columns in newspapers and magazines? تقرأ النصائح. 2. What kind of help do they give? ومن المساعدة التي توفرها? Answer the question.
Mario's advice column.
Dear Mario, I am writing to tell you a story. It's too late for you to tell me what to do now, but maybe you could tell me what I should have done. Your advice might be useful to others in similar situations. My best friend borrowed some money from me when we were out shopping at the mall 2 weeks ago. I was happy to let him have it, as I had saved my allowance over a few weeks and had more than I needed. He wanted to buy a DVD. Then later, I loaned him some more money because we decided to eat at a pizza restaurant. The total, including the DVD, came to $25. I don't mind helping out a friend if I can, so I didn't think much of it. Last week, we were at the mall, and I needed to buy some shoes. They were rather expensive, and I asked him if he could give me some of the money I had loaned him. He gave me a very funny look, threw a $20 bill at me, and walked away. I was really upset. So I decided to call him when I got back. He told me that he never wanted to have anything to do with me again. He said I had embarrassed him at the shop and that I shouldn't have asked him for the money in public. He thought I had done it on purpose because I didn't trust him. I am really devastated. I've lost my best friend over $25. What do you think I should have done? Should I have just not said anything? Would that have been the right thing to do? A confused friend.
Mario's advice column.
Dear Mario, I'm a limo driver, and people leave all kinds of things in my limousine. Scarves, packages, and even shoes. Last Saturday night I picked up this wealthy man at his hotel and drove him to a prestigious charity awards ceremony. The man must have been a millionaire, judging by the way he was dressed. The next day, when I was cleaning the inside of the car, I noticed something shining. The man's gold and diamond pocket watch must have fallen out of his pocket, and it slipped behind the seat. So I called the hotel where the man was staying, explained what had happened, and arranged to return the watch. The man was extremely grateful. He told me that it was a valuable family heirloom, given to him by his grandfather, and he went on to praise my honesty. Then he opened his wallet, took out a $10 bill, and gave it to me. I refused, but he insisted. $10! Can you believe it? I should have kept the watch. Since then, I've been thinking of what I could have done with the money. I could have bought my own limousine or started my own business. Did I do the right thing? Honest, but wondering why.
Mario's advice column.
Because I didn't trust him. I am really thing to do. A confused friend.
Mario's advice column.
Dear Mario, I'm a limo driver, and people leave all kinds of things in my limousine. Scarves, packages, and even shoes. Last Saturday night I picked up this wealthy man at his hotel and drove him to a prestigious charity awards ceremony. The man must have been a millionaire, judging by the way he was dressed. The next day, when I was cleaning the inside of the car, I noticed something shining. The man's gold and diamond pocket watch must have fallen out of his pocket, and it slipped behind the seat. So I called the hotel where the man was staying, explained what had happened, and arranged to return the watch. The man was extremely grateful. He told me that it was a valuable family heirloom, given to him by his grandfather, and he went on to praise my honesty. Then he opened his wallet, took out a $10 bill, and gave it to me. I refused, but he insisted. $10! Can you believe it? I should have kept the watch. Since then, I've been thinking of what I could have done with the money. I could have bought my own limousine or started my own business. Did I do the right thing? Honest, but wondering why.
It's about the letters أجب. Number 1. What happened at the mall 2 weeks ago? ماذا حدث قبل أسبوعين في المجمع? The letter writers lent some money to his friend. أقرض صاحبه. 2. What does the letter writer wish he hadn't done? ماذا يتمنى أنه لم يقم به؟ The letter writer wishes that he hadn't asked for the money in public. لو لم يسأل أو يطلب مالا أمام الناس. Number 3. What did the limo driver find? ماذا وجد سائق الليموزين? The driver found a passenger's diamond pocket watch. ساعة الألماسية للراكب. Number 4. What did he do? ماذا قام به? The driver returned the watch to the passenger. أعادها. Number 5. What does the limo driver think he should have done? وعلى ما يتصور أنه قام به. The driver thinks that he should have sold the watch and bought his own limo or started his own business. أنه لو باع هذه الساعة وبدأ تجارته أو سيارة الليموزين الخاصة به. هذه السرقة.
1. What should the writer's friend have done? 2. What should the limo passenger have done? 3. Discuss the most common problems that people write about to advice columns or to help sites on the internet. 4. Discuss whether advice from advice columns is really helpful or not.
Writing كتابة.
Ask Miriam. Friendship is more important. Dear Sabah, I am sorry you feel so sad about falling out with your best friend. I understand that she wanted to borrow your new bag before you had the chance to use it yourself. But, as you say, she was invited to a wedding, and she could not buy a new bag. I understand that it is difficult, maybe even unfair, to let someone else use something that you have just bought or been given. But surely, friendship is more important, even if it requires some sacrifices. So I am afraid I will agree with what you think. You should have let her borrow the bag. She would have been happy and grateful to you, and you would still be on good terms with your friend. You say you do not like sharing your things with people because they might damage them. You could have asked her to be careful with your bag. The point is, however, to put things into perspective. What is more valuable to you, your friend or your new bag? I would call and say I am sorry. I am sure she will understand, and if she has not already been to the wedding, offer her the bag. You will both be happier. I hope it all works out. Miriam.
E1. Choose one of the letters in the unit to write an answer to. 2. Read the letter again and make notes in the organizer. Include notes with our own advice. 3. Be the advice column writer and write the answer. 4. Exchange letters in class.
Letter from يعني رسالة من. What happened number 1. ما الذي حدث؟ الآن أكمل هذه المواقف. ثم اكتب لكل موقف كأنك كاتب في الجريدة نصيحة your advice. ماذا عن أساليب الكتابة؟
Writing corner. When you write a letter of advice, get all the facts. Write a letter of advice. Get all the facts and refer to them. Summarize them in your letter. Think about different viewpoints, sides. Do not be judgmental or patronizing. Be understanding but do not lie. Suggest rather than tell people what to do.
Form, meaning and function. Present perfect tense versus simple past. المضارع التام وهي have أو has على حسب الفاعل. إذا كان الفاعل he, she, it, أحمد، سارة، ذكار نستخدم has ونأتي بعدها بالفعل في التصريف الثالث. وإذا كان يقبل ed نأتي بعده بمضافا بالed. أو الsimple past الماضي البسيط وهو ed verb أو التصريف الثاني من الأفعال غير المنتظمة. Use the present perfect to talk about an action. نتحدث عن حدث في الماضي that happened in the past when the exact time isn't known or important. عندما لا نعلم متى بدأ أو غير مهم أساسا. أهم شيء أن ذلك حدث. Use the past tense when the exact time is given. ولكن إذا علمنا الوقت المحدد إذن علينا أن نستخدم الماضي البسيط. Have they discovered life on another planet yet? هل استكشفوا الحياة في كوكب آخر yet؟ الزمن غير مهم. إذن لدينا دليل. الدليل كلمة yet و before وكلمات أخرى مثل already since أيضا و for 10 years. هذه قبلها علينا أن نأتي في هذا السياق ب have ونضيف للفعل ed إذا كان يقبلها أو التصريف الثالث. وهنا سؤال قدمنا have على الفاعل they. في الإجابة مثلا yes they have. لا نحتاج إلى الإكمال. السؤال في الماضي مثلا when did IBM introduce the first PC؟ الآن تم تحديد السؤال عن الوقت. الآن يسأل عن الوقت المعين، هذا ليس بعد بشكل عام yet، ولكن هذا لا. متى قدموا أول جهاز PC؟ It was introduced in 1981. إذن علمنا التاريخ أو سألنا عنه نستخدم الماضي، وللسؤال عن الماضي علينا أن نستخدم did، وفي هذه الحالة introduce يسلم من الماضي لأنه موجود في كلمة did. لكن في الإجابة it was كان، و was للمفرد، were للجماعة، introduced in 1981 والمفرد it. he she it صار ذكر أحمد مثلا، كلها مفرد. ولكن ننتبه إذا كان الفاعل لدي اسمين فنعامله معاملة الجمع. time expressions ago, for and since هذه الكلمات ممكن أن تدلنا على الزمن. use the simple past tense when the exact time is given. إذا حددنا الوقت بهذه الكلمات نستخدم الماضي البسيط ed verb فقط أو التصريف الثاني. yesterday 2 days ago, last week. yesterday الأمس، 2 days ago يومين مضى، last week الأسبوع الفائت، last month الشهر الفائت، last year السنة الفائتة. use the present perfect simple tense with for. إذا وجدنا في الجملة for وبعدها الزمن to indicate the duration of the action، لنبين فترة الحدث فنستخدم المضارع التام have أو has، نضيف للفعل ed أو التصريف الثالث. for 2 months لشهرين، for a year لسنة، for a long time لمدة طويلة. لكن متى تبدأ متى تنتهي في التقويم لا نعلم لأنها معممة. use the present perfect simple with since مع since. إذا وجدنا since ووجد التاريخ، لكن since هي من تجبرنا على اختيار المضارع التام to indicate when the action began، متى بدأ الحدث، لكن متى سينتهي لا نعلم. since yesterday منذ أمس. إذن في هذه الحالة since تلغي عمل yesterday ونعتمد على since لنكون المضارع التام have أو has، نضيف للفعل بعدها ed أو التصريف الثالث. since last June، since 1988 مثلا. simple past الماضي البسيط. in 1908 هذا تاريخ محدد ولا توجد كلمة since، إذا ماضي بسيط. a small asteroid exploded over Siberia. exploded ed verb ماضي بسيط. we moved to Muscat 3 years ago. كلمة ago تدل على 3 سنوات مضت. إذا نستطيع أن نضع أيدينا في الكالندر ونحدد السنوات المضت هذه، وهذا تعبير زمني خاص بالماضي البسيط. أيضا نضيف للفعل move ed فتصبح moved. she didn't نفي، وإذا نفينا بدid الآن call يسلم من الماضي، لكن هذا السياق هو الماضي. على كل حال she didn't call her mother last night. last night الليلة الفائتة، علمنا الوقت. المضارع البسيط she has worked عملت، واستخدمنا has بسبب he has worked as a scientist for many years لسنوات كثيرة. إذن for نستعمل معها التام. we have lived سكننا استعملنا have بسبب we in Muscat since هي التي جعلتنا نستخدم المضارع التام may منذ may. number 3 we haven't used ننفي have فتصبح haven't واستخدمناها بسبب we ولم نستخدم has our car for a long time لمدة طويلة. إذن for أيضا هنا تجعلنا نستخدم المضارع التام. A. Work with a partner. Write sentences about the inventions. اكتب جملا عن هذه الاختراعات. Invention المخترع. Date التاريخ.
1. People have eaten canned food since the early 1800s. 2. They have worn wristwatches since 1910 for about 100 years, a century. 3. People have listened to radio since 1901 for more than 100 years, a century. 4. People have used toothpaste since 1841. 5. They have had electricity since 1879. 6. People have watched documentary films since 1895. 7. They have used paper clips since the 1890s. 8. People have traveled by airplane since 1903. 9. People have used ballpoint pens since 1888. E. Have you used any of the inventions in exercise? How long have you used them? Ask and answer questions with a partner. Add other inventions. Have you ever been on a plane? B. Yes, I have. I traveled by plane when I went on vacation last summer. Do you have a credit card? B. Yes, I've had a credit card for 2 years. Or I've had one since I was 18.
Expressing ability الإمكانية, permission الإذن, and requests والطلبات. ability الإمكانية. Use can to express ability in the present. نستخدم فيها can. Can the robot do my homework for me? can هل يستطيع الروبوت؟ إذن can ثم نأتي هذا سؤال نأتي بدو بعد الفاعل الذي نسأل عنه في المصدر. إذن can وcould وmay ينبغي أن يأتي بعدهم الفعل في المصدر، وإن كان في سؤال نأتي بأداة السؤال can وcould وغيرها ثم المسؤول عنه ثم الفعل في المصدر. في الإجابة نقول no it can't نفيا yes you can do it yourself مثلا. use could to express ability in the past الإمكانية لكن متى؟ في الماضي. could people travel long distances before the airplane was invented? yes they could نعم لنثبت they traveled by ship ونستخدم الماضي في السياق. permission الإذن نستخدم في ذلك may and can أيضا can لكن may أكثر أدبا. To express permission may I have leave early today هل يمكنني المغادرة اليوم؟ أيضا الفعل في المصدر leave. Can I have another soda هل يمكنني الحصول على مشروب غازي إضافي؟ yes you may في الإثبات no you may not في النفي. yes you can في الإثبات no you can't في النفي. requests الطلبات use can and could to make polite requests نستخدمها لطلبات مؤدبة لكن could رسمية أكثر في السياق الرسمي في أماكن ودوائر حكومية مثلا. could is more formal. could you fill in this form please تعبئ هذا الاستبيان هل يمكنك؟ could you ونأتي بfill في المصدر. can you help me هل يمكنك مساعدتي help في المصدر. could you open the window open في المصدر والسبب أدوات السؤال could وكان. في الإجابة على مثل هذه الأسئلة ممكن أن نقول yes of course sure not now I'm busy certainly sorry I can't. الشرط if with past perfect and would be able would have been able وهي جمل شرطية تبين عن إمكانيات أو فرص فوتناها. use if past perfect هو عبارة عن had ثم الفعل في التصريف الثالث أو ed أو نستخدم be able to talk about لتمكنت من. ability and missed opportunities if I had studied لو ذاكرت أو درست computer science علوم الكمبيوتر I would be able to invent a cutting edge روبوت لا تمكنت من اختراع الروبوت مثلا. present ability يعني تدل على إمكانية حاضرة. إذا جملة if المهم أن نضيف فيها had ونضيف للفعل بعدها ed أو التصريف الثالث إذا كان لا يقبله فعل غير منتظم. جواب الشرط أو النتيجة نستخدم فيها would ثم be able to مثلا. If Dr. Fleming had discovered إذن هذه جملة if الشرطية. Penicillin sooner النتيجة doctors would have been able to save more lives during World War I. past ability إمكانية في الماضي إذن ممكن إمكانية حاضرة وممكن إمكانية ماضي ونستخدم في الإمكانية الماضية have been able. Complete the sentences with can, could and may and the verb in parentheses. أكمل مستعملا كان وcould وmay أو الفعل بين قوسين. طبيعي سيكون الفعل بين قوسين في المصدر. أحمد can you help مثلا إن أردنا can you help or could you help me with this box please هذا طلب. Number 2 excuse me may I open the window yes you can هذا إثبات الإمكانية. Number 3 we can't meet لا يمكننا أن نتقابل هذا نفي لأن ما بين قوسين منفي. Tomorrow afternoon I'm going to the dentist يلغي الإمكانية. Number 4 Mr. Swearer can't see you now. لا يمكنك هو رؤيتك الآن في المضارع، يعني نفي إمكانية في المضارع. I'm afraid he's very busy. Number 5. Could you swim when you were child؟ هذه إمكانية في الماضي فنستخدم could. No, I couldn't. Number 6. عماد can't stay very long. لا يمكنه البقاء. His friends are waiting for him. هذا كلام لحظي مضارع يعني فنستخدم can't منفية لأن السياق يدل على أنه لا يمكنه البقاء. Can't stay.
D. Work with a partner. Talk about some past inventions and speculate what we would not be able to do now or in the past if things had been different. Use if plus past perfect plus be able. If Alexander Bell had never invented the telephone, we would not be able to. If the wheel had not been invented, we wouldn't have been able to.
الآن نتكلم عن اختراعات لو لم تنجز لما تمكنا من فوائد هذه الاختراعات.
Project 1. Do a class survey. 2. Find out what the most common regrets are. Ask your classmates and make notes in the chart. 3. Repeat the survey with people outside class. Ask questions and make notes in the chart. 4. Compare the results of the two surveys.
الآن قم بعمل استبيان صفي عن أشياء يندم عليه الآخرين. مثلا survey question، السؤال لهذا الاستبيان. Do you have any regrets؟ هل لديك أشياء تندم عليها؟ What do you regret most؟ ما الذي تندم عليه الأكثر؟ What do you wish you had or had not done؟ ما الذي تتمنى أنك قمت به أو لم تقم به؟ مثلا students inside the classroom، الطلاب في الصف. Name of the student what they regret، اسم الطالب وماذا يندم عليه. People outside the classroom، أناس خارج الصف. Name of the person، اسم الشخص. What they regret، ماذا يندمون عليه. الآن قم بعمل نتيجة. The most common regret in class is، الشيء الذي يندم عليه في الصف هو الأكثر يعني. The most common regret outside of the class is or of class is، الشيء الذي يندم عليه خارج الصف أكثر. The most common regret is، والشيء الذي يندم عليه إجمالا هو.
Talk about discoveries and inventions and how things would have been different without them. Talk about missed opportunities and regrets. Use should have plus past participle. Use conditional sentences for hypothetical situations in the past. Use if with could and might. Use the present perfect and past simple with ago for since. Use if plus past perfect plus be able to express ability, permission and requests.
Bond, compassion, consciousness, duration, exterminator, intake, life expectancy, mammal, recovery, residence, adapt, canter, gallop, honor, speculate, whistle, abstract, aggressive, alert, deliberate, disturbed, domesticated, marine, pampered. Could you advise me on how should I handle it when I really need some advice on what do you suggest I do about? I strongly advise you to. If I were you, it would be a good idea to. It's not a good idea to. 24/7. Back to the drawing board. Calling the shots. Get to the point. Hang in there.
الآن زوروا موقعنا howtutsgames.com للتركيز على الدروس واختبار المعلومات، كما يتم تحديث المحتوى التعليمي باستمرار. كان معكم الأستاذ جاسم العقيلي مع تمنياتنا لكم بالتوفيق والتفوق.